I knew this. I think we all did. I don't know. I'm curious about your take on this. And that is, I knew this would come up. The more college programs that fire their coaches, the more in demand I thought Deion Sanders would be. Now think about this. Add them up. And we're not done yet. So far, we're just to October and take a look. UCLA, Virginia Tech, Arkansas have all fired their head coaches. Now, those aren't necessarily blue blood programs, but they matter. They care about football. They'll throw some money at it if they can. And then Florida may not be far behind. I don't know how many more. I think this one big beatdown, whether Texas's offense can do it to Florida or not, I don't know that answer. I don't know about Arch Manning, so I'm not sure. But man, when somebody separates from them and rolls them, then there's a pretty good chance that Florida needs a new head coach too. Wouldn't it make sense for Deion Sanders? Had I said this a year and a half ago, I would have been emphatic about it. You are crazy to go another day without hiring him. But I'm wondering if the temperature's changed. Colorado hiring Deion Sanders was brilliant. They don't care about football there. Not really at all. And he made people care about football. He made it marketable. He was instant buzz, instant success, and they cut through the clutter immediately. But I've always believed that it was a short shelf life at Colorado. Look, I love the town. Boulder's great. The campus is beautiful, but football doesn't matter there. And anyone where football matters, particularly in the South, you would be hiring a rock star. He's the only rock star in coaching. Really is. Nick Saban, now that he's out, there's nobody with star power like Deion Sanders. And it matters. It matters a lot. Probably matters more than ever before. He makes you instantly matter in a world where buzz matters a lot. Clicks matter. What people think matters. Guys checking out YouTube highlights of him really matters. Plus, he's old school enough, I think too much so, but he's old school enough that a lot of older college executives would find his "you do it my way, I'll run you out" appeal. He's to Colorado, think of it this way. See if you agree with this. He's to Colorado what North Carolina thought it was getting with Bill Belichick. Different ways. I get it. But they're, stars. These are guys with the best street credibility there is in the sport. And that's what North Carolina thought they were getting with Bill Belichick. Colorado got it with Deion Sanders. So I think Deion Sanders cared. I think Deion Sanders poured himself into the job. I'm not sure Bill Belichick cares. Now what? I'm surprised where I'm going to end up, I think. And I don't like where I'm going to end up. But he looks and sounds like a different guy. And it's not his fault. Here's why I bring it up. And, if you say to yourself, I've maintained all along that Lincoln Riley is going to do a lousy job at USC because he doesn't play defense, and defense is how you really ultimately get the championships. It's how you ultimately consistently have success, and he doesn't give a flip. And I've thought all along a blue blood program that needs a rock star, it was just a no-brainer. I don't know that UCLA cares the same amount. Does Arkansas? You want to matter, Arkansas? Here you go. You want to cut through the clutter in a world where Arch Manning is the topic of the day no matter what? Here's your chance. Would they do it? I read to you from, this is Yahoo Sports. Report, SEC school interested in Deion Sanders as next head coach. Part of me says, what would you be waiting on? Why wouldn't you already try to do this? Wouldn't you? Apparently not. At least they're not in a hurry. On threes, Pete Nakos, I don't know who that is, listed Sanders as a candidate to replace Sam Pittman at Arkansas. He was fired about a week ago. He also believes Deion Sanders isn't the top option. SMU's Rhett Lashley would be high on the list. I'm sorry, can we chat about this for just a second? So you are, look, I think Rat Lashley has done a good job with SMU. He also inherited a program that was rebuilt almost completely by Sonny Dykes, who has then turned around and won 5 of the 6 meetings between SMU and TCU. Are you sure that's the guy that made SMU matter again? Because they're starting to lose games again. And you'd pick that guy over Deion Sanders, and you're Arkansas. You don't matter. Would you like to matter? Here you go. I mean, it's just crazy. I mean, blue bloods mattering and clicks and all that stuff, buzz, isn't necessarily an issue for them. Not as much. Maybe still an issue, but certainly not as much. But look, Colorado, really, really didn't care. Colorado, when he took over the program, it was the worst Division I program. They lost 11 games before he got there by an average of 29 points, the largest margin in all of football. I don't even know if there's an argument you could say, well, he's a rock star, but can he coach? Yeah, actually, I think that's proven. And you're Arkansas. You wouldn't make a run at him. Is that so? Okay. The report says that Rhett Lashley would be high on the list. Deion Sanders just signed a new extension, increasing his base salary to $10 million in 2025. It would go to $12 million by 2029. To get him away from Colorado would cost $12 million. Now, in the world of obnoxious, over-the-top, ridiculous buyouts, which are just insane in college football, it's insane that you don't have to do that. Don't lock yourself into any of these guys. What you should say, side point here, what programs, blue blood or not, should be saying, so you don't become the next program with Jimbo Fisher. Because USC is in it right now. They got a $100 million underachieving head coach who doesn't give a flip about defense, Lincoln Riley. They can't get out of it. Why would you do that? If your coach walks in, let's just say Lincoln Riley, or it could have been Jimbo Fisher, or could fill in the blank, present-day coach, walks in and says, listen to the school president, whoever he works for, I'm not sure who these coaches work for anymore, and says, you have to give me a big buyout. I want that, or else. And then you say to them, or else what? Where are you going to coach the Browns? Are you? Go ahead. Go ahead. I dare you. I don't know. But in a world of giant buyouts, the $12 million for Deion Sanders is not much. It's really not. So, would you do it? You're Virginia Tech. What are you waiting on? You haven't mattered in a long time. The only reason why you matter now is because you play Metallica songs at the beginning of the game. What if you're Florida? What are you waiting on? What if you're UCLA? What would you be waiting on? Exactly who is it that's a better fit when you're that mid-level and lower program that's lost its way, that can't get anyone to pay attention anymore? Why wouldn't you do it? And you're going to hire Rhett Lashley instead. That's interesting. Now, I say all that because I think hiring him, and I've maintained this for a couple of years, is a no-brainer. There's the rock star part, and it matters. But he also brings pro coaches in and has pro coaching staffs. Now, you could argue the guy doesn't like to recruit, but he probably doesn't have to that much. Just check out a YouTube video or two and you're fine. But here's where I might pause. In better part of, 2 years, he's had half of his foot amputated and had bladder cancer. And he himself is now admitting, I've slowed down. I'm different. I hate to use that against him, and I don't want to, because I think the guy has been a courageous spokesperson. It's been great for a lot of people how outspoken he's been about his battle with cancer. But is it possible? Could you find yourself? Because I find myself doing this. On one hand, I'm thinking Arkansas, Virginia Tech, UCLA, and Florida, you are absolutely nuts not to do this. You're nuts. But I would pause and say, I don't know. And I don't know how to find out, and maybe just an honest conversation with him. I don't know how much energy he has for this. Who's a guy who's admitted publicly. I mean, there's a lot of health problems recently, and it might matter. And it might be the one thing that changes my opinion slightly. But assuming he sits down in front of you and says, look, here's my clean bill of health. Here's how much energy I have. You are crazy not to do it. I hate it for Colorado, but I think it's a short shelf life at Colorado. I don't think there's just enough interest long term to make that work. Deion Sanders to the SEC, Deion Sanders to the South, absent him saying, I'm really not healthy enough to take the gig, to me is a no-brainer. How he would not be first on your list is beyond me. I'm sorry, how moved is the needle with Rhett Lashley to Arkansas? Really? Guess who came out? And I think this is going to be a sidebar story to all of this. And I don't know what we should read into the health of Deion Sanders, but do you know who has recommended? Very, very famous Arkansas alum with a ton of money. Don't you think one phone call from Jerry Jones and some money for his buddy Deion Sanders, who Deion Sanders admitted almost coached for Jerry Jones in the last year and a half. Don't you think a Jerry Jones phone call to Arkansas would carry some weight? Why wouldn't he do that? Apparently he's endorsed someone else. Cowboys owner, it's reported now by Yahoo, Cowboys owner and Arkansas alum Jerry Jones is backing Rhett Lashley for the job. Now, if Deion Sanders has said, nope, I don't want to do it. I got 2 more years here. I'm packing it in. Nope, I don't want to do it. I've taken up fly fishing. I love Boulder, and I don't blame him for that. But beyond that, him saying no, how crazy could you be to not want that instant credibility, that instant attention? It would send shockwaves through the SEC. Or if he went to Virginia Tech, or he went to Florida, or he went to UCLA, which would make perfect sense. USC would be terrified to have him there, wouldn't they? Now get this. The story goes on to say, if Lashley, like I said, who's done a nice job at SMU, but it's also been an SMU that rebuilt itself with 2 things, Sonny Dykes and rich people. Watch the documentary. Now that the rules of pay for play have changed, don't you need a little more help than Rhett Lashley? It's believed that if Rhett Lashley leaves SMU, the story goes on to say, Deion Sanders would be the front runner to be the head coach at SMU. There. I mean, I think maybe all this stuff gets more buzz. Maybe it does now because Deion Sanders is mentioned, which I don't know how it's taken this long to mention him. Maybe it gets more buzz if Billy Napier gets whacked, if Texas runs off and boat races them, which I'm not sure they can. But if you're any one of those programs, knowing the landscape of today, knowing what has happened today, knowing that you are mediocre and below, knowing that no one cares, why wouldn't you do it? What's the risk if you're Arkansas? What's the risk if you're Virginia Tech? What's the risk if you're UCLA? What's the risk if you were Florida? Hey, here's a recommendation backed up by my own experience, a great experience. And that is, I've been a client of DJC Law, and I can tell you this. You're going to get 3 things with DJC Law. You'll notice it right away. The difference is you will get peace of mind. They will take care of every single detail perfectly, and you will get the result you deserve. If you're injured by the negligence of someone else, fighting with an insurance company for any reason, trust me when I tell you, you will need DJC Law. Dan Christensen and his team of attorneys have a remarkable track record. I've known Dan a long time. He's a military vet. He's board certified in civil trial law, and I've been a client. So you can trust them. You will get the result you deserve. Check out teamjustice.com, and you'll see thousands of 5-star reviews. The bottom line is, if you're in an accident, you need DJC Law. Contact them right away. 512 888-9999.